There are objects in this world that should never be disturbed. Relics that carry the weight of something far greater than human understanding. They are not merely artifacts of history, but conduits of power. Power that does not belong to us. The Ark of the Covenant is one such relic. For centuries, it has been whispered about in secret chambers and shadowed halls. The golden chest, said to be forged under the command of Moses himself, housing the shattered remnants of divine law, the stone tablets given by God. But the Ark was no simple reliquary. It was a weapon, a force beyond comprehension, a conduit of destruction. Wherever it was carried, the air crackled with unseen energy, cities crumbled, rivers turned to blood, and entire armies were erased from existence. It was said that those who dared to touch it perished instantly, their bodies scorched, their souls torn from this world. The mere act of looking inside was a crime against the heavens, a crime punishable by death. When the Philistines seized it in battle, their cities fell into chaos, their people afflicted by a curse so terrible, they returned it in desperation. Even within its own sacred temple, priests feared it. None would approach unless commanded. None would dare look upon it unless willing to risk oblivion. And then it disappeared. Some believe it was hidden deep beneath the ruins of Solomon's temple, locked away beneath layers of stone and secrecy, protected by those who understood its true nature. Others claim it was taken to Ethiopia, where an ancient order of priests watches over it to this very day, their tongues sworn to silence, their blades ready to spill the blood of any who dare come too close. Some whisper that it was never lost at all, that it still rests somewhere beneath the sands of Egypt, waiting to be found by those reckless enough to seek it. But those who have tried have never returned. Over the centuries, men have vanished in their pursuit. Explorers, archaeologists, scholars, soldiers, some seeking glory, others seeking power. Their names have faded into oblivion, swallowed by the same darkness that conceals the Ark itself. Every clue, every inscription, every trail leads to a dead end, a wall of silence, an unseen force that warns, go no further. Yet still, the search continues, because power calls to those who desire it, because there are always those who believe they can control what should never be touched, because mankind has never learned when to stop digging. But the Ark is not meant to be found, and if it ever is, the world may not be ready for what comes next. In every ancient culture, there are whispers of objects too powerful to be wielded by mere mortals, artifacts of divine origin, imbued with the wrath of the gods. The Greeks spoke of Pandora's box, a container that, once opened, unleashed suffering upon the world. The Norse legends tell of Mjolnir, the hammer of Thor, a weapon that only the worthy could lift. The Hindu texts describe the Brahmastra, a celestial weapon of such immense power that it could annihilate entire armies with a single strike. But none of these compare to the Ark of the Covenant, not in sheer devastation, nor in the terror it inspired in those who beheld it. Unlike the myths of other civilizations, the Ark was no legend. It was real, and its power was recorded in the oldest scriptures of mankind. The Ark was not merely a symbol, it was a direct link to the divine, a manifestation of the presence of Yahweh among his chosen people. According to the Tanakh and the Old Testament, it was crafted under the strict instructions given to Moses on Mount Sinai. Have them make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, a cubit and a half wide, and a cubit and a half high. Overlay it with pure gold, both inside and out, and make a gold molding around it. On its lid rested the mercy seat, flanked by 2 golden cherubim, their wings outstretched. It was upon this seat that the presence of God was said to descend, speaking to Moses, guiding the Israelites, striking fear into their enemies. The Ark was carried at the front of Israelite armies, its power capable of parting rivers and laying waste to walled cities. But with power came terror. Those who treated the ark with disrespect, who touched it, gazed upon it, or mishandled it, met swift and absolute doom. In the fall of Jericho, the ark was carried around the walls of Jericho for 7 days. On the 7th day, as trumpets sounded, the walls collapsed into ruin, and the city was obliterated. Was it divine intervention, or an ancient technology hidden within the ark, capable of unleashing forces beyond comprehension? In the death of Uzzah. As King David transported the ark to Jerusalem, one of his men, Uzzah, reached out to steady it when the oxen stumbled. The moment his fingers touched the sacred gold, he fell dead on the spot. It was not an accident. The ark's power did not permit the touch of the unworthy. In the plague of the Philistines, when the Philistines captured the ark in battle, they placed it in the temple of Dagon, their god. The next morning, the statue of Dagon was found shattered, face down before the ark. Then came the sickness. Boils, death, madness swept through their cities. In terror, they returned the ark, sending it back with offerings, begging to rid themselves of its curse. These were not mere coincidences. The ark was not an ordinary artifact. It was a force beyond control, a weapon, a conduit, a punishment upon the unworthy. The power of the ark echoes in the myths of cultures beyond Israel. Some believe it may have been the inspiration for the box of Enlil in Sumerian legend, said to hold the wrath of the gods. Others connect it to the Egyptian ark of Amun-Ra, a sacred chest carried in processions, believed to radiate divine energy. Even the Hindu Vimanas, celestial chariots described in the Mahabharata, bear strange similarities, divine vessels capable of unleashing destruction. Was the ark part of a larger, ancient knowledge lost to time? The ark was not just a relic. It was too dangerous to remain in human hands. It granted absolute power, but at a price. The priests who tended it were bound by rigid laws. The people who followed it lived in fear. It could not be controlled, and so it was hidden. Was it buried beneath Solomon's temple, locked away where no man could reach? Was it carried to the mountains of Ethiopia, guarded by an ancient bloodline who still believe it holds the power of God? Or was it something more than just an artifact, something never meant for this world? One thing is certain: the ark was lost, and perhaps it was never meant to be found. Some objects vanish from history, like whispers in the wind, forgotten relics of a bygone era. But the Ark of the Covenant is different. It was not merely misplaced. It was not simply stolen. It was erased. The last definitive record of the Ark places it in the first temple of Jerusalem, built by King Solomon in the 10th century BCE. The temple was said to be the holiest place on earth, designed with a sacred chamber, the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest could enter, and only once a year, under the strictest of rituals. The Ark sat in this chamber, unseen, untouched, guarded by laws more fearsome than any army. Then, in 587 BCE, the Babylonians, led by King Nebuchadnezzar II, stormed Jerusalem. They razed the temple to the ground, slaughtered its priests, and carried off its treasures. But the Ark was gone, not taken, not destroyed, gone. Babylonian records, meticulous in their detail, list all the riches plundered from the temple, from golden menorahs to sacred vessels. But there is no mention of the Ark. It was as if it had never been there. No soldier claimed to have seen it. No scribe recorded its fate. The holiest relic of Israel had simply vanished. And from that moment on, history went silent. For over 2 millennia, theories have emerged. Clues buried in scripture, cryptic texts, and whispers from secretive orders hint at what may have happened. Some believe that before the Babylonians arrived, the priests of Jerusalem smuggled the Ark into a hidden chamber beneath the temple. This theory suggests that it still rests there, buried deep beneath the ruins of the Second Temple. which was later built on the same site. This would place it underneath the modern-day Dome of the Rock, a location too politically and religiously sensitive to allow excavation. If the Ark is truly there, it remains untouchable. One of the most persistent legends claims that the Ark was taken to Ethiopia, guarded by the priests of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The Kebra Nagast, an ancient Ethiopian text, tells a remarkable story. According to the legend, King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba bore a son, Menelik the Sens. When Menelik reached adulthood, he traveled to Jerusalem to visit his father. Upon leaving, he was accompanied by a group of Israelite nobles who, without Solomon's knowledge, stole the Ark and replaced it with a replica. Menelik brought the real Ark to Aksum, Ethiopia, where it was hidden in the Church of St. Mary of Zion. To this day, the church claims to house the Ark, but no one is allowed to see it except a single, lifelong guardian, a monk who spends his life in seclusion, never leaving the compound. Those who have tried to uncover the truth have either been turned away or died under mysterious circumstances. The Knights Templar, a powerful and secretive order of medieval warrior monks, were obsessed with Solomon's temple. Some believe that during the Crusades, they discovered hidden vaults beneath the temple ruins and retrieved the Ark. The theory suggests they smuggled it to Europe, possibly hiding it in Rennes-le-Château in France, or even within the Vatican's secret archives, where it remains locked away. The Vatican has never confirmed nor denied the existence of the Ark in its possession. But if it lies within their vaults, it raises an unsettling question. Why would they keep it hidden? Another theory suggests that the Ark was never in Solomon's temple at all. Instead, it was hidden away before the Israelites even reached the Promised Land. Some believe the Ark was taken back to Egypt, where it was stored within the Great Pyramid of Giza, or buried in the desert, its location lost to time. A few even speculate that the Ark was not a religious artifact, but a machine, an ancient source of energy or weaponry, hidden by the priests of old to prevent mankind from wielding its full power. History is littered with the bodies of those who sought the Ark. Some disappeared, some went mad, others died sudden, inexplicable deaths. In the 1920s, the British Egyptologist Sir William Petrie reportedly found evidence of the Ark in Egypt. But before he could publish his findings, his work vanished. His records were confiscated by the British authorities, and he was found dead in his study. His notes, never seen again. In the 30s, the Nazi expedition, Adolf Hitler, obsessed with occult artifacts, sent SS officers to Ethiopia to locate the Ark. They returned empty-handed, those who survived, that is. What happened to the rest remains unknown. In 1981, Ron Wyatt's discovery, an amateur archaeologist, claimed to have found the Ark beneath Jerusalem, but his findings were dismissed. Strangely, he was forbidden from ever returning to the site. There is a pattern. Those who come too close vanish. The question is no longer just where the Ark is. It is why it remains hidden. The Ark was a relic of unparalleled power. It could topple cities, strike men dead, part oceans. If it was ever found, who could wield such a force? What government, what army, what secret society would risk letting it slip into enemy hands? Or worse, what if it was not meant for anyone? What if the Ark was never truly an object of worship, but something far more dangerous, a remnant of something beyond human comprehension? Perhaps, after all this time, it is not lost. Perhaps it is waiting. And if it ever resurfaces, the world may never be the same again.